What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining me for a late night, you know, speed drawing. Well, not speed drawing. This one would be a coloring tutorial. I take pride in being able to, really bring life to a piece, um, with color. So this will just be a demonstration on that. So I have my original character. I haven't come up with a name for it yet. Um, but this is primarily just for the sake of demonstration, as far as me showing you, uh, you know, a certain the way that I like to color. So, I already started, and with my coloring, I like to start off with a pretty dark gray layer. Um, this is my base, and this will be, I'll label it flat. Then I have this layer, which would be my highlights. So my highlights and my shades are going to do the most talking for me throughout this piece. This is my first time using a soft brush in a while, because I usually do pretty hard brushes and just kind of associate it. But I'm gonna get a little painterly on it this time and just see how it goes. Mm. So this character debuts in the Trials of Atlas, a comic book that I've created back in 2016. No, 17. Let's just say 17. Um, so the Trials of Atlas is, that's like my brainchild. I worked on the Trials of Atlas. I developed the Trials of Atlas years ago. Back when I used to work security overnight, and I originally just came up with the idea because I really wanted to, like, concerned that I was working on, different comic book characters and stuff like that. I really wanted to do a black Superman, like just like a black person with godlike strength, and you know at some point I thought of this character. I thought of the character, how he looks at first, but I'm like, okay, well, what's his backstory? What makes him interesting? You can't just introduce a a character such as this without some type of explanation on you know why he's this powerful X, Y, and Z. So I came up, so at that point, I started brainstorming on, okay, how can I make this, like, what type of backstory can I give this person? So after years and years, after years essentially, thinking backstories for him, it kind of just took a life of its own, because originally when I first created him, I literally created him as a side character. He wasn't supposed to be, a main character. He was supposed to be a side character, just simply to support. Considering that, here's my thing. Considering that a character is so powerful as Superman, those type of characters shouldn't be the primary focus of a story. If the story is mainly how does this character get through, whatever challenge. Great example, Superman. It's only it's very rare that meets you know he meets a foe or adversary that is just as strong as he is. So they come up with different ways to try to write him to make him relevant. Because if you have a character that kind of just walks through every challenge that they have, it's not it just makes for bad writing. So I originally just wanted him to to be a side character, because I didn't want to make I didn't want the story to get boring. So as I developed him and as I came up with different, I came up with a backstory for him. It really took a life of its own. And, at that point, I was like, okay, well, I kind of don't need the side characters at least. I mean, I don't need the characters that I considered, the main characters at the time because I now have Atlas. So, enough of me rambling, but I will now tell you, the Trials of Atlas. So, of Atlas focuses on the first man on Earth, Atlas. The way that he was created granted him immortality, which allows him to live through, the beginning all the way up to now. Throughout his travels, throughout his experiences, he starts to gather, and learn these abilities that makes him to the person that he is today. Instead of him just being born with it, he just simply lived long enough to develop them. Over the years, he developed a distaste for mankind to the point that he just decided to live on his own. Which honestly, I can't blame him. So he lives on his own. That's where we catch up with him in modern day. These kids who are essentially, playing around in the woods, end up stumbling across him while he was, relaxing, and you know, and based off of that interaction, it kind of landed. And I would say it caused the world to pay attention to him again. I'll just leave it at that. But the series overall follows him as he tries to adapt to modern day society. He spent so much time in the woods on his own that he has to relearn how to be a human being or a citizen again. And while he saves the world, he also, I'm sorry, no, no. While the he tried to find information about his origin, he also has to save the world. So that's constantly a distraction. It's constantly catching him, not by surprise, but catching him, in the middle of trying to find, how he was created. Because him being first person, you don't really get a chance to meet your, to meet who created you. But I really had fun developing this character because, like, I take pride in like being able to come up with a story, but not only, but I mean, come up with a story that one hasn't been told before, and two, it's not here to try to capture your conventional way of a superhero story. Like when I tell people about Atlas, their first question is like, okay, what type of powers does he have? And I honestly don't care I don't care about the hero's powers, to be honest. It's what they decide to do with them is really important. I like Superman not because of the fact that he's super strong, but the fact that he has all of this, great, godlike abilities, and he uses them for a lot of, I hate to say petty things, but he uses them for, very human like reasons. He to get a cat out of a tree, to get, I mean, one time he dropped everything to he dropped everything he was doing to go console a teenager who was going to commit suicide, which I thought was very powerful. Like, you know, there's a million people, not a million, but there's a bunch of people that could have possibly helped this teenager, but you have Superman stopping everything that he was doing to zoom over just to answer the cries of help of a lonely teenager. So, like I was saying, is I think it's very important that we focus on the why more so than the what. Um, you have a lot of shows that just focuses on the what, and once I find out the what, it's like okay, but where's the why? And I will always ask why. Why is this character doing this? Why is it like this? Why is it yada yada yada? Let's talk about Umbrella Academy. Okay, I know it's the new season on Netflix, and you have a lot of people that really liked season one, and I'm not going to say that it was bad, but it was a lot of parts that I'm just like, why? Like, and it seemed like the writers just could not answer that for me. Um, why was, and why was I forgot his name, the half monkey guy, like why was he sent to the moon? One, two, why did he live on the moon? Like, it's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. And, one could very easily argue, well, the father is yada, 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 yeah, blah, 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 blah. But we're talking about from a writer standpoint, okay? From a writer standpoint, which ultimately writers are God of whatever you are, of whatever you are viewing on TV. Okay, whatever you're viewing on TV, the writers create, the writers think of, they can dictate, what happens and how it happens. So from a writer standpoint, it's like, why does this happen? And I don't see answers. And a lot of people would also say, well, if you wait for season two, yada yada yada. But it's just like, no, that you people shouldn't have to keep getting that pass. I shouldn't have to watch season 3 to understand what happened in season 1. That doesn't you don't get that pass. You shouldn't, at least. Like, a lot of people will say you got to watch the rest of the series to be able to understand this. And if we're talking about basic Easter eggs, sure. Sure, I will give you that. A basic Easter egg, I don't have to understand. Like, someone could say, "Oh, you have to watch. You have to be a huge fan of X, Y, and Z for you to understand this part." Yes, an Easter egg is not imperative to the story. You know, like, it's just a nod or a homage to the true fans in the audience. But like, your Easter egg should not be what the story hinges on. So, that being said, I shouldn't have to read, the books. I shouldn't have to watch the all of the documentaries and all of this stuff just to understand why this character is doing X, Y, and Z. I really want y'all to understand that. Like, even if you're not a fan of whatever you're watching, you should be able to see some type of understanding on, put the pieces together. You should be able to put the pieces together. Oh, this is why this person's doing X, Y, and Z, even if I don't know the character. I'm sorry. If you get me started on stories and narratives and stuff like that, I could go for a long time. And it's very few people that I actually like have a chance to talk to about this type of stuff, because, like, people will always confuse it as me just bashing something, and I'm not trying to bash it. Okay, like, I could very easily like something and still critique it, which a lot of people can't understand that for some reason. I don't get it. Like, you should be able to say, "Hey, this is a great cheeseburger. It's a little salty, but it's a great cheeseburger." Like, I don't understand why when someone say, "Oh, it's a little salty," and the moment you say that, is, "Oh, you just hating. Why don't you like X, Y, and Z?" No, I could tell you, what I don't like, and I could tell you what I do like, but it could use some improvements. You know. Y'all gonna kill me, and I don't care. But Hunter X Hunter is not as fucking good as people cite it to be. I tried my hardest. Believe me, I did. And for like majority, actually the whole first season, I'm like, what the hell makes this kid special? You'll have so many characters in that freaking series that say, "Oh, this kid is special. This kid is different." I'm like, okay, but what is making him special? Why am I interested in this kid? Why am I interested in this series? Like, what are y'all trying to achieve? And like, we need to like, and this is mainly going to a lot of Japanese animes. It's just like, stop coming up with these characters that's just like, oh, I want to be a hero. Okay, why? I just want to be a hero. Like that's such a shallow and surface level freaking motivation. Like like if you're going to give me that, at least say, well, I want to be a hero because I've seen so much bad things in my life. Like, you have people that say, oh, I want to help. I want to help people because I come from such a bad upbringing, or from such a bad neighborhood. So that's why I want to help people. But when you have characters that just say, "Oh, I just want to be a hero," just because that's just something I want to do, like, you understand how blah that is? Like, I mean, at least Batman wanted to be a hero because he wanted revenge. So we get it. Superman lost his parents at some point, so that's why he wanted to do good. But it has to be some type of better motivation to want to be a hero. Something that requires sacrifice, something that requires will, something that requires compassion. Like, it has to be better motivation than just, I just want to do it. That's all it is. I just want to do it. Like, give me something on I'm just gonna color this in and just erase back into it. On what was it? Attack on Titan. He Aaron Yeager wasn't particularly a hero. He just witnessed his mother get killed, so he swears on his life that he's trying to kill. He wants to kill the Titans, all the Titans. He wasn't thinking about, oh, I need to help people and yada yada yada. He just wanted to fucking kill all the Titans. Okay, yes, that so happened to be coupled with, you know, the general, um, the general motivations of the rest of his, I mean, of the military, but he really just wanted to kill Titans, you know, and I mean, I'm not saying I encourage it, but I respect that reason, because you could see why. You could see why. You could empathize with that character, why they would want to do something like that. But if someone just said, "Oh, I just want to kill all Titans," just for the sake of it, it's more so. It's not even more so like you questioning why they want to do it. But at some point, you're gonna be like, okay, what is your beef with the Titans outside of the beef that everybody else share? You know. But the "I want to be a hero just because I want to be a hero" thing is such a lazy form of writing. In the Trials of Atlas, I'm jumping around, I know. In the Trials of Atlas, Atlas really does not care to try to save people. He, again, he's, kind of jumping back into society. He tried saving the world before, and it didn't really work out for him. So he's just like, he really does not care too much to save people at the beginning. But he's learning. He's relearning how to be a citizen again. But the whole purpose of him saving people in the first place is because he struck a deal with somebody to he gets something out of he gets something um out of the fact that he's saving people. So if you're like, hey, if you save people like that, I will help you with X, Y, and Z. I'm not giving it away. You'll have to read you have to read the book for that. But like come up with some better motivations, and this is like I'm not even talking to the writers anymore. I mean, at least not to mainstream writers and stuff, but just like this is to my creators. Like, make sure that when you do come up with a character, you want to constantly think of how, not how, but what. I'm sorry, what. No, not what. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Why that W. Why are they doing X, Y, and Z? It doesn't even have to be elaborate. It just has to be something that makes sense. It just has to be, something that makes sense. That's all it has to be. People try to come up with these elaborate reasons for stuff to happen, but like human nature is not all that elaborate. We do a lot of the things that we do for very simple reasons. Alright, so I'm applying the highlights, and I'll go back and blur them a little bit. But I just want to lay down the groundwork first. Oop, didn't mean to do that. So while I have your ear, I need everyone listening to understand that this election coming up is very important. Okay? Like, it's no more jokes, bruh. We survived 4 years with this clown in office. We can't do another 4, okay? We really can't. So that being said, I need you to vote. And on top of that, and mind you, we don't have too many great options. We have no great options, actually. I'll keep it a buck with you. None. And honestly, Kanye West jumping into the race is not helping, because it just divides our vote. So please vote wisely. We can't do another 4 years of this fool. I don't like Biden either, for I really don't. But we can't do another 4 years with this dude. We just can't. Back when he got elected, I had a full head of black, lustrous hair. I swear, every couple months, ever since this fucker got in office, gray hair just pops up. And it announces itself, too. It's like, hey, what's going on, boss? I was like, oh, for real? He's like, yeah, I know. Where should I put my stuff? I'm like, man, nigga, on the other side of the door. You're not wanted here. What's another fucking gray hair? Because it's just like, it's always something. This has been one of the wackiest, craziest, nastiest freaking 4 years of like recent American history in a while. Racism, a pandemic, freaking ICE going crazy and locking up illegal people. Well, not illegal, but like locking up immigrants and separating families. Are we serious? This is all within a 4 year time span. Like, think about that. Tell me that's not crazy. I honestly don't know what the fuck Joe Biden is going to do, but unfortunately, we won't have too many good options. It's like the difference between ranch and fat free ranch. That's all it is. I wasn't trying to turn this into anything political, but like your boy tired, and I don't want I don't want another 4 years of him. So what I'm gonna do? Start using some lasso magic. I love messing around with gradients. Did y'all hear the versus battle between Two Chains and Ross? Who do y'all think took it? I'll tell you off the jump. Y'all slept on Two Chains. Like, a lot of people slept on Chains. Like, bruh. I mean, I low key slept on them too, but the thing is, like, when they said, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Then I'm thinking, like, damn, Ross have a more widely accepted, not accepted, but like a lot of his shit was like, pop chart records, stuff that hit radio and stayed on the radio for a minute. But Chains, like, dog, he did banger after banger after banger. I don't know. Like, I think Chains did it. I think Chains definitely took that one. Like, Ross played a couple of joints that I'm just like, okay, I remember that one. But it wasn't like I didn't get a head nod off of it. Or like that. I'm like, it was dope. But, it wasn't really, something that I felt like, oh, he took that round. Like, there was a couple joints that I'm like, damn. Two Chains took that shit. Had me going back into my freaking music library because, like, you know how you update your phone and stuff like that, or you get a new phone or whatever, and you end up losing music that that you used to have, but then you also don't notice that it's gone until, like, you either have to look it up or something happens to remind you of that song. And that's how it was with Two Chains. So I'm gonna smudge this guy real quick. this is just the just the highlights. Once I get the gray scale and a to a good liking, like I'm pretty much almost done. Like I'm not like this is a easier way of working for me at least. Cause you get your values right, and you very rarely have to do too much other stuff after that. Mm. It'd be dope if they had the option to do a lasso inside of a lasso. Like you could, like you see how I had the entire gray area selected, but I had like a sub lasso. Like I could like if I could get like a sub lasso or something like that. Okay, and wow. Okay, I'm gonna lasso. I'm gonna fix that because I do not like it. Add a feather to. I'm gonna add a feather to my gradient. I mean, not to my gradient, to my selection. And all feather does is you see, the selection is now feathering anything that touches the edge, so it softens up your fill. So if you look, you see how soft it is now. Yeah. I need to fix this because this is going to blow my fucking. I don't get how it's like what the hell. Just delete that. There we go. All right, we'll fix that later. Just all right. I'm gonna speed this process up a little bit, but it's looking good so far. All right, so you saw majority of the process. I sped through it for a time. I doubt everyone wanted to, stick around and just, watch the long, drawn out process of, digital painting or digital coloring, whatever you want to call it. So I filled my flats layer, selected my flats layer, then I made a new layer. Let's say this is flats 2, I guess. I don't know. I honestly don't name my layers like many artists claim they do all the time, but a lot of us don't name our layers like that. Well, I don't. I'm not gonna speak for anybody else, but I don't. So I was thinking I usually go with green with her, but I was thinking a nice, beautiful red. So let's see if we could go to yeah. I want something dark, not dark, but like. There we go. Something kind of on a. There you go. Kind of on the purplish side. Let's see how that works. Edit, fill. Let me see if I can mess around with the hue. Sorry, I have to keep dragging stuff onto the screen. Up the saturation. Drop the lightness. There we go. Sometimes you have to go through, a couple of tricks just to be able to get the color that you feel comfortable with. Then I go to my layer effects, and I usually do like a couple, like one of the three. One of the four, I guess you could say. So usually I go with multiply. Now I like multiply, but the thing is I don't have the amount of details that I want showing through her through that layer. Like you get some of these details, but I don't know. Let's see if we could keep moving for a second. Overlay. Now, one of my issues with overlay is the fact that it lightens everything up. So now it's just like, I don't know. It's the top layer doesn't have the richness that I feel like it should have. Now, you could always do multiple layers for your coloring, but I like to try to minimize as much as possible. I mean, of course, I'm going to do a couple more layers, but I'm not trying to make too many layers for no reason. Let's try. I think I try screen every now and then, and screen just lightens it up more than what it is. That grays it out. Hard light is usually fun. That's not bad. But I'll try soft light real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna go with hard light. then if I want, I could always just drop the opacity if I need to. But for right now, let's just go with hard light. So I picked this color only because majority of her dress is going to be red. So might as well just pick the color that's going to be majority of your image. She's gonna have like gold accents. So, actually, hold on. Let's go back to normal. And then I'm going to I love it how when people say, remember, I don't know if a lot of you remember, but like, back in the day, people would talk about, colors and stuff like that, crayons mainly or whatever, and say, hey, can you pass me the gold? I'm like, okay, you mean yellow? I'm like, no, it's gold. I'm like, because they write gold on the actual marker or paper to the crayon or something like that. That doesn't make it gold. Okay, there's no difference between gold and yellow, outside of the fact that one is a metallic color. That means that it's reflective. That so that's more texture based than color based, and the other one is flat. There's like the equivalent to saying, hey, can you pass me the silver? Oh, you mean gray? Because that's all it is. Just a shade of gray. I remember I didn't ever corrected people on that, but like I remember getting confused because I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not gold. That's yellow. And there was times that I would try a crayon. I'm like, let me see what this gold is. I'm like, oh, you talk about yellow, bruh. If anything, that's a mustard yellow. If you insist on trying to, I like to have all of my characters have like, not complementary colors, but some type of color that makes them, fictional. I try to stick to some level of realism, but the whole purpose of reading a comic book or watching TV or something like that is not to be, it's to escape away from, realism. So I don't understand the purpose of trying to capture realism in a fictional plane. Now, yes, you could have some level of realism to it, of course. Everything is based on some type of reality, but at some point you have to question, okay, well, what level am I? What level of realism am I trying to stick to? I could very easily just use the quick select tool, but I'm already here. This is just laying down flat colors. All of these colors are not, they're not permanent. They're not gonna, I'm gonna change them at some point. One of the curses of being an artist is like, you work on something and you're like, oh, this is dope. But then, 2 days later, you're like, this isn't dope. This isn't dope at all. So, so you go back and you have to now, not have to, but like, you go back and you rework it, and then, you figure out that you could either be frustrated with the project, or you could actually, actually be happy with it. But you don't know how often I would end up looking at something I'm like, yeah, this is dope, but I mean, I don't want to show nobody this. Like, this is it's low key embarrassing. Like, you get to know my, like, you end up like not liking the image, you know. Oh shoot, did not mean to do that. You know what? What the hell? Hmm. Okay, for some reason my quick selection is not working. Mm-mm. Nope. That's what I get for trying to be lazy. I know I'm going outside the lines, but you know, I'm gonna go back over. I'm going back over a lot of these things with a different color. Like that's going to be a different color. I don't know what though. Maybe that green that I was talking about earlier. The funnest part of a project, at least for me, is the coloring portion. Like inking is fun as well. I would say that's definitely a close. That's definitely a close second. But when it comes to inking, for me at least, enjoy. Um, I enjoy the actual raw ink way more than digital inking anything because you still can't. They still can't capture that um, that feeling, you know. Like I actually hear that there's a screen overlay that's made to feel like paper for digital artists, and I'm actually interested in trying that. My friend um, Ben Pereira, shout out to him. Check out his art. Um, yeah, it's Ben Pereira. I honestly don't know. I forgot what his Instagram is, but he posted something in reference to that, and I was like, oh okay, that looks dope. But I honestly don't know how it turned out. Ooh, okay, I gotta fix that. How did that happen? I mean, that's one of the issues with not issues, but like you know, one of the drawbacks of this process is if you mess up on one layer, it's possible that you can have multiple layers that are also you know close to the same close to the same mess up. You know, so it's really important that you know try to look out for these mess ups because you could very easily um, you know do the whole drawing or a whole painting and then realize oh crap I gotta fix that and depending on how you organize your layers, you could have to do that to multiple layers. There you go. Ooh, maybe a purple for her. See? Look at that. Maybe a green for this, and then a dark purple for the charms, or whatever the heck you want to call them. Usually I do a lot of this through selections, but sometimes selections could betray you, so that's why I am trying to knock all of this out through drawing. But I will be speeding up this process, so you don't have to, stomach seeing everything, or hearing me talk for forever. But this would just be the outro, I guess. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate the view. Like and share, subscribe for more content. Check out my clothing line, Space Cadet, SpaceCadetApparel.co, not .com, .co. Okay, all done by me, designed by me. Give it a try. Give it a shot. It's a lot of it's a lot of women's apparel, but a lot of it is also unisex. So I make it for guys to be able to appreciate it as well. If you like vibrant colors and spacey vibes, well, look no further. All right, so check that out, SpaceCadetApparel.co. Also check out my website, FauntroyComics.com. That's where you can also purchase my comic books or any other prints that you see available. So, yeah. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe, yada, yada, yada. All right. See you at the next one.